Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your choice for all things Everton. I am Gerry. Joining me today, we've got a good one, folks. There's a face from the past, and we have a face that you've seen a lot of, but not here with us. So we've got Paul, who has not been on the show for a while, but he's back. Paul, welcome back.
Thank you, Gerry. Good to be here.
All right. I think when John announced it on Twitter, you actually had someone say, yes, Paul is back. So just saying.
Jake. Yeah. Jake's a big fan of mine. Very flat. Yeah. My only fan.
Yeah. And additionally, we have somebody who actually has been doing a lot of awesome work for the Toffee Blues on our YouTube channel, doing a ton of transfer videos, doing daily videos, puts in a ton of hard work for us, and we really appreciate it. But this is his first time coming on. Well, I had never met him, so this is kind of rad. We have James, everybody. James, welcome, man.
It's a pleasure to be on the show. Nice to make my bow finally on this show.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Let's talk Michael Keane. Starting center back Michael Keane. His first year, I jumped on the bandwagon and was kind of like, you know what? Maybe he's not too emotionally stable. You know, he seemed like he was very fragile mentally. Like it didn't take much for him to kind of break down in a game. And I got swept up in it. I think we had some funny Christmas presents that we gave to people, and I think I gave him a new mentality. What an asshole I am. But anyway, it turns out a little bit of stability was really what he needed because he had that at Burnley. So some stability here, knowing his defined role, it's been good for him. It's been nice. All right, so I've got a list of his strengths and weaknesses here, but nobody wants to hear me talk all day. I don't. I get it all the time. So why don't we start? We're going to start with James because it's his first time being here. Paul, I'm sorry, but we're starting with James. Look at that tear. Well, nice. All right, so James, you want to talk a little bit about what you feel like Michael Keane does well and not so well and kind of move on from there?
I can tell you what he does well. I think he's strong. He's aggressive. I think what I like about him, particularly not in his first season, but ever since, I think he's been a very proactive defender. He attacks the ball. He comes forward. And I think that's why we move on to his weakness, is his lack of pace. You need to have a fast player to play next to him because he'll always go and attack the ball. He'll dive in, it's great for a modern centre-back to step in, and he also can carry the ball into midfield. But when he gets exposed like that, you need a quick defender behind him, and that's where his weakness can be exploited, which is his lack of pace above all else, I think.
Yeah, for me, it's I'm not even sure if it's like his pace over like 20 yards. For me, it's almost like his pace over 5 yards, that quickness. That's the thing that really gets me, is when somebody comes on him, you know, mano a mano. They've got the ball, and he's got to figure out a way to turn quickly. I just don't know if he's somebody who has that quick turn in his locker as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely I think the people used to say about a certain player, I can't remember who it was, but I heard the saying, he turns like an aircraft carrier.
Yes, that is exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So, Paul, I've got another. For me, it's also when you think back to the goal that Villa scored. Okay, Keane let. Oh God, what was his name? The Brazilian player, like literally run right in front of him, behind Mina, to get that ball. What was the name of that striker? I'm brain farting right now. Wesley. Yes.
Wesley.
Yes.
Or his first name or his surname?
Yeah.
Both. He's
Wesley squared.
Wesley, we went for a drink together. Yeah.
But Keane sort of switched off, and he didn't follow the man, didn't track him at all, and pretty much gave him an open path to goal. And that was one of those things where I feel like every once in a while he still shuts down every once in a while. You know what I mean? Paul, is that your biggest concern with him, or is it more just straight up quickness that you feel like is an issue?
No, I agree with that first point. He is a player whose mind can wander, type thing, I think. And when you look at the issues he had in his first season, I think kind of just seems like, not so much anymore. I think he has got better. He just seems like a very anxious guy whose mind's always ticking over. And sometimes it's ticking over so fast he can't kind of channel his concentration correctly. it only happens rarely nowadays. I mean, he has improved leaps and bounds since then, but as you just pointed out, Gerry, obviously when it does happen, it tends to cost us big. So I think it's not a thing where he made a mistake, but it was a quick passage of play. Another player got him out of trouble. Whenever Keane seems to have like a real brain fart moment, it seems to always result in a goal against us. Thing.
I might be a little bit of a cherry picker here, but the second goal we conceded against Lincoln is headed away. Do you not think he could have dealt with that a little better?
I'm going to be honest, I can't picture the goal like in my head directly now.
Is it the absolute world
really nice volley.
But he headed the ball that dropped right for him. I was thinking he could have maybe dealt with that in a different way.
As I said, I think it maybe just goes back to maybe his mind working a bit too quickly.
Yeah,
like times like he's
lack of composure.
It's lack of composure. He can't kind of just take a breath. The ball's coming down to him. He can't just focus. Right, just get it away. It's like, oh no, I've got to get it away. It's just. I think it's just angst a lot of the time. Well, hopefully, it's slowly being eradicated. It is a lot better now than it was maybe 18 months ago. But as I said, that every now and then an incident seems to happen, and that incident always results in a goal. And I really, really hope for his sake more than ours that doesn't happen in a derby or a game where we're away from home and we're backs to the wall, and that lack of concentration ends up costing us the points. Because I think a lot of people would hold that against them if that ever comes to pass.
Yeah, concentration I think is a good word for this. It's the idea that. See, I feel like he's pretty composed when he's on the ball, when he's had time to receive the ball and then someone's coming at him and pressing him. He usually makes, for the most part, a solid decision, a good pass. His passing, I think, is better than I expected when he came in. I got the vibe when we brought him in that we were thinking, we want this guy to clear the ball out. We want him for intercepting crosses. We want him for his work in the air. That's what I was expecting, an aggressive header of the ball, someone who's got, and I think his stats on that were really strong when he came in. So because it was very Steve Walsh Moneyball, because I think Ashley Williams at the time, his stats weren't bad either on that same front. And Kone, when we were thinking about bringing in Kone, same type of thing. It was really interesting because it was the stats. But he's a much better passer than I expected. But it's when he's got like no time and he has to make a one touch, or it's someone else who has the ball and he has to track somebody. That's usually, and that's where I feel like it's more difficult to concentrate when you don't have the ball at your feet. You haven't been reminded, and so I think that's a big thing. I remember Tim Howard had issues with concentration as well near the end of his career. He was great for 30 saves a game if he was having to face 30 saves a game, but if he had to make one save a game, it was not happening because he was not focused, And it was really hard as a U.S. guy, by the way, watching that, to be sitting there thinking, God, he needs to go out.
Yeah, that'll be a conversation.
That's a different one.
And that's a video. Tim Howard's legacy of it.
I think there's an interesting point to think you might have just nailed it there with Michael Keane. Is that why Michael Keane's improved under Marco Silva? Because we have the ball more? The fact that he has more of the ball at his feet rather than more of the tracking back, heading away, the sort of things we say maybe he struggles with.
Interesting.
Yeah, just going off what you said a moment ago, Gerry, I was under the complete opposite impression. I thought when he came in, he was going to come in to kind of be the ball-playing centre half, like the guy who kind of bring the ball out a bit more. Obviously, not to the level of like a Stones or anyone like that, but he would kind of be the guy who would take the ball and feed it to a Schneiderlin or to a Gay or someone like that, whereas the guy next to him, Ashley Williams or Phil Jagielka,
but we'll lump it out the ground.
They were going to be the big kind of, as you just used the pair with the big lumps next to him. They would win the headers, they would get the clearances, they would do the dirty tackles, whereas Keane's a big guy himself and he can look after himself certainly, and he can go up and win a header, but he was kind of be the guy who the ball would be at his feet and he would kind of help bring it out from the back.
Did he have that kind of reputation coming out of Burnley at that time? See, I'm trying to remember and my brain is not. That's the thing. I was just under the impression we're just talking about a solid defender. You know what I mean? Playing with Burnley, because he was partnered with, who was it? Me. Yeah. And partnered with me, and then he was replaced by, was it Tarkovsky? So, yeah. And me was one of those who seemed like more of a ball-playing center half to me at the time. You know?
I recall the final game Keane played against us for Burnley. I think Lukaku scored 2 of the goals,
Turning.
and
Yeah, the
Keane.
cat for his dinner, didn't he?
Yeah, well, no, but there was that. But also when we were losing the ball, we were a bit sloppy in the game, if I remember rightly, even though we won. And Keane kept sweeping it up and stepping out into the midfield and playing nice passes.
See, I
in
didn't even
that
remember
game.
that. Wow. Very cool.
And I thought, he is all right. And I think he scored the goal against us as well from a corner. I'm not too sure, but
I
think
trust
he
your
might have
memory
done.
better than mine, brother. So I'm going to go with you on that. Yeah. So essentially, we're talking about a player. And I always got the vibe that a big part of Keane's issues in the bad season, let's just call it that, the bad one.
The bad
Because that's
season.
the one I don't even like to speak its name. It's very Voldemort. It's not. Do what?
Because we had
Oh, yeah.
Voldemort after we had Voldemort as manager after putting a bit of weight on, but it was still
Yeah.
Voldemort.
We're not giving him any airtime. Damn it. No more airtime for that guy. But I felt like we're talking about a guy who didn't really seem like he knew what he was supposed to be doing. I felt like with Keane, you have to be very specific. You have to say, this is your role. And this is in this situation. This is, and I feel like Silva is a micromanager when it comes to detail. Considering his partnership last year with Zuma was strong, worked really well. We're talking about a player with speed, really good aerial ability, and he kind of he balanced out Keane really well. That's what it seemed like. This year, Gerry Mina stepping in. I don't get the vibe that Mina has Zuma's quickness. I just don't think he's as quick. So I'm wondering how we feel about this partnership, because I was sitting there really worried we were not going to get Zuma, and then we didn't bring in any center back. Mina's looked great this season, but is it still the ideal partnership? Let's let Paul start with this one, and then we'll go to James.
To be honest, I think there's a lot more evidence saying that it is a good partnership than it's a bad partnership. There's been a lot of, not just this season, last season as well, there's been a fair few really solid defensive performances with those two guys playing and not Zuma. Chelsea away, Anfield away, bar in the last 5 seconds. The other one I was thinking of, I think Chelsea at home as well, kept a clean sheet there with Mina in the team. Mina and Keane, I remember we talked about this, Gerry, I think it was the first time we ever spoke. It was during the summer of 2018 when we were getting linked with Mina. And we were like, what would this guy bring? Who would he link up with? And we were saying, I think Keane and Mina could maybe really be a perfect yin and yang. They could even each other out. You could have every good partnership has the difference. There's the straight guy, and there's like the kind of quirky off the ball kind of guy. Keane's the straight man, the guy who does all the simple stuff. Yeah, get the ball to his feet, he'll take care of it. Put it in the air, header, he'll win it more often than not. He can take care of himself. Whereas Mina's kind of the more rash guy. He'll take risks type of thing. He'll make the last ditch dramatic goal line clearance type of thing. And Mina would maybe teach him a bit of those dark arts. Remember we talked about that, kind of how to kind of exert himself more. Cause I'm only guessing, but I get the impression Keane's not a very loud guy. As in, like, he's not like often in somebody's face, pointing his finger, like. Whereas Mina's the opposite of that, and I think that's kind of rubbing off. Pickford was like that naturally anyway, but I think kind of some of that's rubbing off on Pickford, some of it's rubbing off on Holgate a little bit, some of it's rubbing off on John Joe Kenny when I saw it. Like, kind of these guys who, they're not just, if the referee blows the whistle, they're not just, I'll give a foul away, or that's not my corner. Mina will get up and be really animated type thing, and I think that's rubbing off on Keane. I've noticed Keane kind of exerts himself a bit more, so whereas Zuma seems a bit more of a chill guy. So there's positives and negatives for both partnerships, but I think the positives are really, really good for Mina and Keane. I don't think we've seen many negatives at all. So if people don't think they would work together, well, I don't know what the basis is.
And Paul, to kind of back up your point there, I believe Keane has come out and said he's trying to be more vocal. He wants that. Yeah, I think he has actually said, I want to be that guy who's getting loud and instructing, because he needs to not be afraid to tell people what to do. If you know what's going on, that was the thing about Jags. Jags had no problem sitting there telling people where they're supposed to be on a direct kick, where they're supposed to line up, and our center backs need to be able to do that. There's going to be time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be great if we could actually get Keane on that same page as Mina. James, what do you think about that? I mean, I know Paul Paul may have summed a lot of it up right there.
I went all right. I wrapped it up and put them all on it.
Anything you want to?
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that ball and wreck it.
The wrecking bow.
I think it's a good partnership. We're right, but it's not a great partnership. It's not the kind of partnership that perhaps maybe like a Jagielka and Distan or Jagielka and Lescott, like what we've had in the past. I don't think it's that sort of exact yin and yang, if you like. I think that, like you say, that it's far from the worst partnership we've had at the back. I think they'll be absolutely fine, I think, this year, but I still think we can go one better, and maybe that is bringing Kurt Zouma back, or equally, I think it will be bringing a player in to play centre-back who has got more pace. I think that's the issue. If you want to play a high line like Marco Silva wants to, you don't want to get exposed. I don't think we concede the goal Villa score against us if we have a faster defender in that back line.
And also, sorry, go ahead.
That's kind of the... No, that's okay. I was just putting the bow back on for Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say that honestly, that goal I felt like was more of Keane just mentally shutting down and because the ball was on the other side of the field. He literally watched Wesley run in front of him, cut in front of him, and he could have cut that off. He could have. He legit could have. And Mina didn't know about it until it was way too late. Like, way too late. So I do think, and I'm going to agree with you on the fact that I do think we at some point we are going to need a center back with more pace, period. I just think we will at some point. I'm also still not completely sold on Mina's durability. That's the one thing we do have in Keane. Keane is durable. All right? He can last a whole season. We know that. In the Premier League, he can do it. Can Mina do that? We don't know yet.
He had a couple of injuries, didn't he, last season, Gerry Mina? I mean, I think that's the reason in the first place we ended up with Kurt Zouma in the starting 11 to have that partnership. But
Zouma came in as backup, really, but Mina was just that injury prone that Zouma basically played the bulk of the season and was formed so well that it made everyone...
And also very consistent and durable as well. So that's the thing that I want to see more of. But I'm going to stop talking as much about needing a center back with pace if we start going back to getting clean sheets. You know what I mean? If we're starting to get more clean sheets and these guys are performing well, I will shut my mouth. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, to be frank, at the beginning, they looked good. They looked good. There weren't a ton of mistakes, and it didn't look like we were really... I mean, Mina was recovering well. If he got cut in behind, Mina was recovering well and catching people, making some game-saving tackles. So, but we haven't really played the big teams yet. So I want to see what happens.
That's going to be the big test.
Yeah, curious.
Do you reckon we'll go back for Kurt Zouma?
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Now that Zouma's having those
Zouma's in on it.
That we don't really need.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying Agent Zouma.
Yeah, but Zouma's having a hard time there off the pitch as well because of other incidents. I think Zouma will. I really do think Zouma, if he's got any sense, which I like to think he has, will just be talking to his agent, or his agent will talk to him, and they say, "Look, Everton are still interested. Do you want to go back?" And I think he would want to walk here. As soon as Chelsea's transfer ban is over, I think we'll probably get Zouma.
I agree.
I think Chelsea will be willing to let Zouma go. I think they were willing to give him another chance at the start of this season. Lampard said that he was, he'd impressed him during the pre-season training, and he was willing to give him a clean slate at Chelsea. But I think just too much has gone wrong too quickly, and I think a lot of Chelsea fans, unfairly, have just kind of written Zouma off already. And we know what it's like at Chelsea. Once the fans written you off. There's no coming back, is there?
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to be the big I am, but I saw that coming with Chelsea fans.
Yeesh. Yeah, them selling David Luiz really screwed us over with Zuma. That was apparently the move, which
I hate that guy. Yeah, I hated that guy in general, but I really hate him now. And he basically he destroyed. Maybe there wasn't much chance for it anyway, but he destroyed any sniff that we had of getting Zuma in the summer.
Yeah, was that Luiz?
Yeah.
I want to know what you've got against David Luiz now.
I was going to say, he keeps trying to kill Bart. Let's leave Bart alone, man. Yeah, that was the easy joke, Paul. We both went there. All right, so we should cut this off because we had to move on. But yeah, I reckon that's it on our Michael Keane segment. For the most part, been pretty consistent. So let's hope the partnership holds, and yeah, not as many concentration lapses. There we go. All right. So if you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd sincerely appreciate it. If you want more Paul, how can I pimp you out? Is there any way to pimp you out? Anything? Yes. Yeah. Paul does articles for the Toffee Blues website.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but we're going to pick up again. And I am at P McAllister.
It'll be on your little thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, cool then. Yeah, that's my.
In case you were looking away from the screen this entire time, Paul has just told you his Twitter account now. So yes, there you go. All right. Also, look around for Paul when you're walking around town. He'd appreciate a nice conversation about boxing. That's what Paul wants. Engage him in boxing conversation. What? Skittles.
Skittles. I like Skittles. I like them. Yeah. Well, that's my Twitter bio. You've just literally read my Twitter bio. I like to talk about Everton, boxing, and I just added Skittles.
Paul, I swear, I will trip out if you come on to the show and be like, some guy in the street just came up to me and started talking to me about Skittles. What the hell, Gerry? So, yeah. Yeah, I like to push this stuff. Normally, I try to push Terry as being someone, please give him a hug in public. So with Paul, let's talk about Skittles, all right? James has been doing videos for, he was doing the Toffee Blues 24/7 videos for a while there. I don't think you're doing those as much right now, right?
No, not since the window shut.
Yeah, because there's less daily news, but I'm sure when the window picks back up, you'll see a lot more of that. But James still does videos for us, so keep an eye on that. Is there any other way you want me to, plug you essentially?
Big me up on Twitter. Basically, that's all I can say. Is it's at @jwharton_EFC.
All right.
That's it.
So everybody, engage these gentlemen on Twitter or in public. All right. James would appreciate a healthy slap on the back just in case he's choking. All right. Now, going to move on to the next segment. So, bye.
That is my phone. Do you like my ringtone, guys? There you go. 1 minute. I'll just have to put that on silent.
It sounds like a silent movie era, a black and white character like comes strutting out, steps on a rake,
You should use that sound effect, like that. Like that sound effect.
Oh, you're doing the Wilhelm scream. The Wilhelm scream.
Yes, that's
yeah, man. It, yeah. Oh, that was fantastic, James.
Well,
that's okay.
How's that for the first show?
You're okay. I'm sure if it's funny, Ben will leave it in, and if it's weird, Ben will leave it out. So either way, it's a winning moment that your phone just created for you. So you're okay.
And in fairness, it's a nice ringtone if you'd ask me. I think it's a little bit wacky.
Nice. Mine's like some kind of elevator music that I found. So everybody's like, it's, yeah, that's what I get.
I Mine's like broken elevator music.
No, we were talking. It sounds like the soundtrack to a silent era comedy, and someone's like, or a old cartoon, with someone with like big shoes comes walking into the frame and an anvil falls on them or something. Yeah, that.
Oh god, so Tom and Gerry,
yes, a little, except before that.
Like Black and
Yeah, actually. So anyway, let's bring this back to Keane really quick before we have to end. So